What's the worst food you've ever tried in your life? Chitterlings. The most foul thing I ever had. Went to my aunt's house one day hungry and she was cooking. I hadn't seen them before because my mom didn't cook them and she wouldn't tell me what they were. Honestly, she cleaned them until they were white, but I took one bite, spit them out and knew at once what they were. I was so disgusted as I told her what they were. She was shocked and wanted to know how I knew what they were. I told her and my aunt because nothing else on the earth, but chitterlings could be so gross. So glad they didn't make me eat the rest of that mess. Raw quail like sushi. I love sushi and was not put off by the raw egg. But it had natto instead of rice. I was not prepared for that and it was really awful to me. Editing to add a description of natto from the Farmer's Almanac. Natto is a beloved Japanese dish made from fermented soybeans that's virtually unknown in the US. While its slimy, gooey texture and strong, pungent odor, some describe it as smelling like dirty socks, can be a little off-putting. It has some powerful health benefits that are nothing short of amazing. Some kid in my boarding school tricked me into eating a goat pellet once. Technically not food, I know. But I didn't know that as I chewed away, waiting for the taste to improve. He told me it was a type of savory snack, see? Well, the taste never improved. In fact, it got progressively worse until I was dry heaving, doubled up with my hands on my knees. When I looked up, the bastard had gone. Staggered to my dorm and brushed the shit out of my mouth until my gums bled. Talk about gullible. Prune stuffed with cream cheese, vomiting face. I was a kid at a fancy grown-up party with my oldest sister, some teacher thing. I was bored to tears and kept hopefully eyeing the beautiful snacks set up on silver trays. Finally it was eating time. I headed straight for what I thought was cream-filled chocolates, sat down and popped a whole one in my mouth. My sister watched in horror as my face turned green, but I somehow managed to swallow it. I was afraid to eat anything else after that. My dad is an amazing cook. Damn near everything he makes is amazing. With one notable exception. One summer day us kids were waiting on the porch for lunch because in the 80s children had to eat at least one meal outdoors every day, and my dad brought down banana and mayonnaise sandwiches on white bread. It's as awful as it sounds. It feels like snot in your mouth and doesn't taste notably better. No food per se, but I used to have a medical condition that required me to take liquid iron supplement. I cannot accurately put to words how foul, how repulsive, and how vile that stuff was. The smell alone could knock out a water buffalo at 20 paces. The worst thing was the aftertaste. It could ruin my favorite meals hours, sometimes days after taking. 010, would not take again. Was in Lisieux, a Norman town, where not a lot of people speak English. Menu was entirely in French. So far so good. Had no idea what anything was. Figured I'd be safe, and get a dish with rice. I figured, well, it is rice. Can't be all bad. Except the French word for rice is riz. Riz is French for sweetbreads. Almost tossed my cookies. I have no idea what it was. In Hawaii most of the food in that trip was not good. We tried the spam musubi, which itself wasn't awful. There was something with it where the ginger would be in normal sushi, but it was clearly not ginger. The only description we could articulate for it was unwashed fermented pig asshole. Maldive fish, they're dried and used as an aromatic spice in Sri Lankan cooking, and I can smell it from a mile away. Like if you ate anchovies in powdered form. Sri Lankan cuisine is phenomenal, and otherwise my favorite cuisine, but just the smell of Maldive fish will make me gag. Liverwurst. My dad loved it, but I have no idea how anyone could eat it. The smell alone is atrocious. I probably haven't been near it for 40 years, but the other day, I saw it in a store refrigerator and I swear I could smell it through the glass. Not sure exactly what it was called, but a fried pastry with a fish head baked inside, eyes and bones too. We went to this very traditional Chinese restaurant that had very misleading information on the food. It was listed as a crab cake. Did you get a lot of crappy stuff as a child whose mother mainly gets free food? But worse I think was a peanut butter. It was all like greasy and you had to put it in the fridge, so when you took it out it was frozen. Some piece of candy a Vietnamese coworker gave to me. It tasted nasty, like rotten chicken or something is the only way I can describe it. Never forgot that. Nasty, but they were just eating them one after another. I don't get how anchovies can be appealing to people. I still taste the salty oily horror in my mouth from that pizza all the way back to when I was a kid. But if you like it, fair play. Okra. My mom loves it, but I have a visceral reaction to it. I've tried it cooked and fried with different spices and I just cannot. My entire being gags if it touches my tongue. I'm not a fussy eater, But I tried fish pie once, and I nearly died at the dinner table. I had to meditate and hold my breath with every bite to act polite at a friend's house. Fish. A tastes how it smells, both of which is gross. B makes me vomit in my throat, mouth, and stomach itch. Have you ever had an internal itch? It's the fucking worst. Microwavable cheese-infused corn dogs from Costco. They smelled exactly like foot odor. Granted, I didn't eat them, but they were the most repulsive food I've encountered. Stinky tofu. I'm mostly a super omnivorous person, but that taste was like nothing I want to experience again. Before that, the only thing I wouldn't eat was sauerkraut, pork scratchings. They taste like I've been fed a bit of charcoal from the bottom of the grill. Plus the name sounds like a slang term for itching your nads. Some traditional Chinese dishes like boiled pig and other things, not that they were that bad for me. I'm not a picky eater, but I was expecting something else. Has anybody ever tasted the taint flavor in pork? I've never tasted urine, but I would imagine that's what it tastes like to me. It's absolutely vile. What apple juice Sri Lankan drink? My sister and I were told it was delicious. We both had one sip and unanimously agreed it was like drinking vomit. Undercooked chicken with strawberry yogurt is a topping, cooked with the yogurt plopped on top in an orange slice as a garnish. Truly bizarre. Chinese broccoli and hot garlic sauce. Usually a favorite of mine, but got very ill after eating it one particular time. Put me off it for a year. Not sure how to spell it, but sorpresa. It's what happens to raw meat after an old Italian guy puts it in a basement to cure for 6 months. Not sure how to spell it, but sorpresa. It's what happens to raw meat after an old Italian guy puts it in a basement to cure for 6 months. Korv. Swedish sausage made with pork, potatoes, and allspice. Tastes like how gym socks smell. Just the thought makes my stomach flop. No matter how many times my wife makes some monstrosity from TikTok, I'll always smile and say thanks for cooking, honey, it was great. My dad once made something called salmon loaf. It's like meatloaf but with salmon. Needless to say, no one asked him to make it again. Authentic dry pot. Way too greasy, and intestines and lungs taste awful no matter how much chili and black licorice you flavor it with. Sea urchin. A friend from college took me out for sushi and didn't tell me what it was before I tried it. I still remember the smell. Parsnips. At first I thought I liked it, but after a few bites I wanted to vomit at the taste. It's like licorice but a vegetable. 1000-year-old when I was visiting China. Almost projectile vomited immediately. Somehow kept my composure at the restaurant. Natto. Japanese dish consisting of soybeans fermented in a bacteria until they are slimy and reek of dirty socks. Not food but a drink. I put tequila and butterscotch liquor together. Called it butt-tequila after. It's horrible. Fried rattlesnake. One of the reasons I don't want to go to Texas anymore because it was so common over there. The Norman andouillette, a sausage made with pig intestines and that smells and tastes like urine. Durian tastes like rotten onions, and you won't be able to get the taste out of your mouth all day. Sizzler side dishes. Steak wasn't bad, but the side dishes and salad bar was totally disgusting. I've tried several times in multiple countries, but I can't stand raw squid. Tastes like glue. Durian. Don't have the genetic marker to find rotten eggs and socks appetizing, apparently. When I was maybe 12-13, I was given expired, open and not refrigerated heart of palm liver. Like bro, its job is to literally catch all the bad stuff from your body. Kale can bugger right off. I have quite a varied palate, but that is nasty stuff. Chicken feet. Weird textures all around. I don't understand why folks love them. Olives, I know that's not super weird, but I can't eat them. Flavor is just weird. Raclette cheese. Smelled like dirty socks. Tasted better than it smelled though. Buffalo wings, congratulations, you've ruined chicken wings with your pain sauce. Liver. I eat a lot of weird foods, but the metallic taste of liver I can do. Chocolate and mint, anything. There, I said, you can fight me now if you wish. Canadian goose. I can barely stand to even think about how repulsive it was. A tie between Brussels sprouts and squash. 2 different fart flavors. Ugh, spicy kimchi. It was awful. If you can eat it, God bless, but it's not for me. Cantaloupe. Not a flavor thing, just allergic. Pretty severely as it happens. Pesto. Something about a mix with whole wheat pasta is just disgusting. Alligator bites in the keys. I had to spit it out. Tasted like swamp. Fermented raw crab, as part of a traditional king's meal in Korea. I was once tricked into squirrel brains. That'll never happen again. Rotten egg flavored jelly bean. Curse you, jelly belly bean boozled. Cilantro. Who in their right mind would put that shit in anything? Pig's ear. Just kept chewing and chewing and it wouldn't go away. Natto fermented soybeans in Japan for breakfast. So horrible. I think avocados taste like dirt and I will die on this hill. I think avocados taste like dirt and I will die on this hill. Brussels sprouts, the smell alone makes me want to hurl.